Hello everyone, you're watching Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Peel police share latest misuse of 911 line after caller asks for bank phone number. Traffic backed up on EB Highway 401 in Mississauga after paving stones spill on roadway. Rent in Toronto declines for third month in a row report. Police appeal for witnesses after vehicle slams into open door of car, throwing driver a considerable distance. Police seek info into violent armed Milton home invasion in Milton. 3 suspects at large. Man arrested at Leafs game. Toronto police say suspect assaulted 3 guards and 1 officer. Influenza activity in Toronto higher than pre-pandemic norm as some hospitals warn that they are over capacity.
These were the headlines. And let's jump right into the details.
Drivers should expect some significant delays on Highway 401 in Mississauga after a load of large paving stones on tractor-trailers spilled onto the roadway on Monday afternoon, police say. The incident happened shortly before 2:30 p.m. in the eastbound express lanes near Mavis Road. Currently, 2 right lanes are blocked. Mississauga OPP and the Ontario Ministry of Transportation are now at the scene. Recovery and cleanup operations are underway and should take 3 to 4 hours to complete, the OPP Highway Safety Division said in a post on Twitter. That would mean that the traffic delays could continue during the afternoon rush hour. The average apartment rent in Toronto has declined for the third month in a row, according to a monthly report by rentals.ca. According to the January report, the total average asking price for an apartment in Toronto increased just 2.1% from a year ago to an average rent of $2,832. In November, rent decreased 2.4% year over year to $2,913. The organization's October report was the first to indicate a slowdown in rental costs since August 2021. Toronto stuck in second place on the report's list of most expensive Canadian cities to live in for renters, following Vancouver. Across Canada, asking rents have increased by a total of 22%, which translated to an average of $390 per month over the last 2 years. Despite the slowdown, Toronto still took third in rentals.ca's national rent ranking for January 2023. Vancouver and Burnaby took the number 1 and 2 spots. The remaining top 10 spots went to Ontario markets, including Mississauga, North York, Bulletin, Scarborough, Brampton, Guelph, and Ottawa. The current average cost of 1 bedroom in Toronto is $2,536, while a 2-bedroom goes for $3,345, and a 3-bedroom is priced at $3,843, the report found. The 4 highest priced small and mid-sized markets for apartments rentals in Canada were all located in British Columbia, followed by Richmond Hill with an average rent of $2,782. Most of the remaining top 25 small and mid-sized markets with the highest rents were located within the Greater Toronto Area. York police are making a public appeal for witnesses after a driver struck the open door of a stopped vehicle in Richmond Hill last week, resulting in life-threatening injuries to its driver. The collision happened on Donald Cousins Parkway, south of Copper Creek Drive, at around 6 p.m. on January 12. Police say that the driver of a Hyundai Genesis had pulled over to investigate a noise coming from their vehicle when a southbound Honda Civic struck the open door on the Hyundai. As a result, police said that the Hyundai's driver was thrown a considerable distance. They were subsequently rushed to hospital, where they remain in life-threatening condition. Police said that a passenger in the Hyundai as well as the driver of Honda both sustained minor injuries in the collision. Police continue to investigate and have set up a dedicated portal where members of the public can upload video footage. Investigators are appealing to any witnesses who have not yet spoken with police and to anyone who may have dashcam footage or video surveillance of the area around the time of the collision to please come forward, police said in a news release issued on Monday. No charges have been laid in connection with the collision so far. Police in Halton region are asking for the public's help with an investigation into targeted home invasion in Milton. Police said that on Sunday at about midnight, 3 suspects wearing masks and armed with handguns entered an unlocked home on Commercial Street. They then allegedly assaulted the occupants of the house and demanded that they hand over cash and took personal property. The victims were not seriously injured. The suspects are only described by police as three young black males and possibly Somalian. Investigators said that one of the suspects spoke in Somalian during the home invasion. They also drove a black SUV. Investigators are asking anyone with the information, as well as anyone who may have dashcam footage from near the intersection of Commercial Street and Derry Road West between 8 p.m. on January 13 to 1 a.m. on January 14 to contact the Halton District Police Services, 1 District Criminal Investigations Bureau at 905-825-4777 extension 2416 or Crime Stoppers anonymously. Public health officials in Toronto say that the level of respiratory illness in the city remains high but appears to be decreasing following a wave of infections over the holidays. COVID-19 and influenza activity are high in Toronto, but we know that influenza levels are decreasing. Associate Medical Officer of Health Dr. Irene Armstrong told the Toronto Board of Health during a presentation on Monday. Percent positivity for influenza sat at 6.6% for the most recent week compared to 15.6% for the week previous. COVID-19 percent positivity was high but stable, Armstrong said, sitting at 17.6% for the most recent week, down slightly by 1 percentage point from the previous week. Ontario's COVID-19 wastewater signal has also leveled off after reaching more than a year-long high. The latest data from Public Health Ontario puts the number at 2.38. That is still nearly double what it was 1 year ago, 1.38, but it's virtually unchanged from where it stood in mid-December, suggesting that transmission of the virus has at least plateaued for the time being. Meanwhile, after seeing a steady rise since September and a spike over the holidays in late December, Toronto Emergency Department visits for respiratory disease are decreasing, though they remain at moderate levels. While there are signs that infections may be declining somewhat, the overall level of viral activity remains high. Health officials said there were 72 active COVID-19 outbreaks in healthcare institutions in the city as of January 12. In addition, there were 15 influenza outbreaks and 9 RSV outbreaks. Those numbers are similar to the amount of outbreaks seen around the same time in 2022 to 2023 season, Armstrong said. For the period of January 2 to 10th, TPH received reports of 122 COVID-19 related hospitalizations, 8 new ICU admissions, and 44 COVID-related deaths. In Hamilton, health officials urged people last week to do what they can to reduce the spread of respiratory viruses, as hospitals there are currently under extreme pressure and overcapacity. Adult acute occupancy across all HHS sites is consistently more than 100%, and some patients are currently being treated in such spaces such as hallways, the hospital network said. HHS said 9 surgeries were deferred last week because of the situation and is expediting patient discharges where appropriate in order to keep up the demand. In order to reduce the spread of respiratory illnesses, people are still being encouraged to stay home if they feel sick and to use rapid tests to check if they have COVID-19. Health officials have cautioned that a single negative rapid test is not necessarily a conclusive indicator that person does not have COVID-19. Those who are sick should do multiple tests over several days in order to get a more accurate assessment. Armstrong said that TPH is also working to provide access to the Novavax vaccine, a non-mRNA COVID-19 vaccine, which was approved by Health Canada on December 5th. The health unit also expanded eligibility to the new RSV vaccine on December 7th. A 37-year-old man is facing charges after police say that he bit an officer and spat at security guards while being taken into custody at Scotiabank Arena over the weekend. According to police, the incident occurred shortly before 10 p.m. on Saturday during a game between the Leafs and the Colorado Avalanche. Police allege that event security staff attempted to check on the well-being of a man who subsequently became confrontational with the guards. Investigators said the man then assaulted 3 security guards and later an officer who was called in to make an arrest. Parts of the incident appear to have been captured in a video posted to social media over the weekend. The video appears to show multiple security guards and possibly other employees struggling with the suspect on the ground in an arena concourse while dozens of patrons looked on. At one point in the video, one of those people appears to strike the man with his knee multiple times, both in the back of the head and in his face. The man appears to be bloodied during the video. Police tell Awaz News that the individual was treated at the scene by paramedics but refused further medical attention. Police have not commented on the video. Meanwhile, in a statement, LSE said it is aware of the incident and is conducting a full investigation in cooperation with Toronto Police Service. Any update will be reserved pending the outcome of the investigation, MLSE said. The accused 37-year-old William Anderson of Ancaster, Ontario, has now been charged with 3 counts of assault and 1 count of assaulting a peace officer. He is scheduled to appear at the Ontario Court of Justice in Toronto on March 12. At 911 call of a woman asking for bank phone numbers, the latest instance of emergency services being misused in Peel Region, police say. Peel Police released audio of the call Monday. In it, the caller can be heard asking the dispatcher for the phone number of the bank at Westwood Mall in Mississauga. This is not an appropriate use for 911, the dispatcher is heard saying to the caller, who apologized. There's a lot of people who have real emergencies, but now I'm speaking to you. Callers misusing the emergency service line in Peel Region has become a problem over the last year. In 2023, police said dispatchers received 71,000 calls a month, close to half of which were inappropriate or hang-ups. Last week, Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown introduced a motion that would fine individuals who misuse the critical service. We have never seen this level of misused calls, he said at the time. It's going up each year, and that's putting an enormous pressure on 911 to the point that we have legitimate emergencies being put on hold because we have negligent calls. According to Brown's motion, Peel Police receive roughly 1,800 emergency calls daily. Approximately 720 of those, or more than 40%, are deemed non-legitimate. Other examples of inappropriate 911 calls received at Peel Region in recent months include an incorrect order at Tim Hortons, a TV not working, and a complaint about people playing cricket on a footpath.
That's it for now. I'm Kubrali signing off. See you tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.